Hi, Clwyd.
Morning, Edwin.
How are you today?
I'm very well.
Excellent. Now, today we're going to talk about one of our services that we offer, which we're quite happy about, which is LinkedIn Active Marketing.
LinkedIn Active Marketing, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
So the question is, what is it?
What is it? LinkedIn Active Marketing, which is it's a long phrase, but really the basic idea behind it is quite simple. We as an agency do a lot of different things to drive clients to our clients, if that's one way of putting it. And one of those things is social media. But the problem with social media that everybody talks about all the time is the analytics and the numbers behind it. It's very difficult to pin down real lead generation from social media. It seems to be one of those things that you have to do in the old sort of phraseology of marketing. It's you have to spend the money, but you're not quite sure where the money is going.
That's right. And you don't know who your audience, if you're hitting the right audience.
Absolutely, it's a spray and pray type of marketing approach, which I've never really been a fan of. I like numbers. I like to track things back to their source, if that's one way of looking at it. And what we've developed is a combination of technologies and real people skills that actually goes some way to address that problem. If I can give you an example, LinkedIn is the source, which is where the LinkedIn in the LinkedIn Active Marketing comes from, but it actually uses multiple different social media platforms to pad out the actual data. So starting with LinkedIn, here's the scenario: is it works really in a B2B environment, because LinkedIn is strong in the business to business world. So what we would do, we would talk to a client and we'd say, tell me who are your major competitors. Give me 10 of your top 10 competitors. And ideally what we want from that competitor list is about 10 major organizations who have a larger social media spend than our particular client. And really what we want to do is use their social media skills against them, which is really a great thing. So what we'll do is we'll take those 10 competitors and we'll start following them using the software that we've got. And this is the combination, this is the data mining element. We'll start following those competitors, and then we'll start following the people who are following those competitors.
Okay.
Right? So by looking at the people who are following, those are potential leads for our client. But again, those numbers can be very large, so there's going to be a lot of noise in there. So we have to take it one step further. We have to drill down and start looking at those people and profile them. So we'll look at criteria such as their job title, the sector that they work in, the organizations that they belong to, and the profiling those organizations. So that acts as a filter. It cuts down a lot of the noise, and it gives us a target set of potential leads for our client. But again, that's still one step. Those people, just because they are potentially interested in our client services, doesn't mean they're interested right now. So the active bit, which is the next stage, is that we start listening across all of the social media platforms. And whenever anything of interest defined by keywords and phrases that the client has given us pops up as part of a conversation, it could be something on a forum, it could be something on LinkedIn, but like I say, it doesn't have to be. When that's relevant, that sets off an alert. And that alert comes through our system and can be passed back to the client. Or it can be passed over to a telemarketing team, for example, or an active social media group who can jump on, start helping, start engaging that client on the social media platforms.
So can I ask where you said about the groups, because we get this question a lot.
Yes.
There's lots of groups.
There's huge numbers of groups.
So how do you know which group you need to target? How does LinkedIn Active Marketing overcome that problem?
Well, this is the beauty of it, is the problem that you've laid out there is exactly the one that we're addressing. The number of groups is active in the sense that it's changing all the time. People join groups, they resign from groups, but we're not specifically listening on all the groups. We're listening to the people. These are people that we know are targeted for our client. So when a particular person joins a group and then becomes active in that group, then we'll know that that group is a good place to hang out, at least for the time being. So what we can do is that we'll get that feedback and it'll go back to our social media team and they can jump in on that group. And that's where the people skills come in. So they can look at that group, see if it's relevant for our client, and if it is, then they can start posting on that group. Now that group might only be active for a week or a month. It might be one of those flash in the pan things that comes and goes. But if it is, then you're active, you're riding the wave, you get in there, you put your feedback, you help, and then you back out again and you listen. And then you find out what the next group, the next one that's going to come along. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. You know, you could be posting on all of these groups and nobody's actually listening on them.
Right. So we've covered basically what it is, and we've also covered how it works.
Right.
Now, one of the key points is, one of the things that we've not mentioned is, so let's say, for example, we've got a client, we've gone off and we've got them all these potential leads. Now, this goes off to either their telemarketing team, their lead nurturing team, their digital marketing team.
Yes.
What happens if those leads are no good? How does that, does the system just stop working? What do we do with the leads?
No, the feedback from those leads is really important because, as I said, it's a combination of software and people. And if anybody has any experience in working with software, you know that it doesn't work first time. So what happens on the first cycle, if you like, of the process is that you get a lot of junk. And this is just the learning that the software and the people have to go through in order to tune it. So in practice, what happens is the system is set up and it's tuned and we use all the best practices that we've got, and maybe about 50% of the leads that are coming through just don't make any sense at all. It might be picking up a competitor, it might be picking up something that's irrelevant because somebody thought a keyword was a good one and it turns out it's not. So what we do is we take all that feedback, positive and negative, and we tune the system. So we tell it, this wasn't a good lead and this is why it wasn't a good lead, and then the system will then learn, and hopefully over time, over 2, 3, 6 months, you actually get a refinement in the quality of the leads that are coming through.
So this system about LinkedIn Active Marketing is adaptive.
Yes.
Which I guess is quite simple in the ideas of terms of that's not a good lead, that's a good lead. But we can track it for every stage of the cycle. So if it comes in at the first point and it's not very good, we tweak the system.
Yes.
If it comes in, it's gone over to someone to arrange a meeting, we've done some engagement, and then we have a meeting, and then these results come out, we can then potentially feed that back in if the client says, look, this is not really a good lead for us for these reasons.
That's exactly right. And you know, and I know that systems are not perfect, but the best the best results are got from a combination of good people and good systems. And
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what we're trying to build here.
Well, I think Virgin trains for their help customer services. They've got a system in that reads and tracks emails, sorts them, pre-sorts them based on content,
Right.
and then it's distributed to the correct channel.
Yeah.
But what it is, it's learning and learning and learning, and what it's allowed them to do is become more effective. So a lot more emails can be responded or handled over to the correct team.
Yes.
So this is a similar system. But one of the things I would like to ask you, what this means is basically you'll be getting less leads as the system is employed, but they'll be highly qualified leads.
I think that's true. I think that certainly the initial flow of leads will be high. That will be pared back as the system removes the junk, removes the non-relevant ones. But hopefully also the volume will increase over time, because as people learn how to use it better, we'll be able to add more competitors into the system, we'll be able to follow more forums, and we'll find more innovative ways to get the system to listen across multiple social networks. So over time, there'll be an initial spike, which will fall, the quality will go up, and then hopefully the volume will come up over time as well.
Yeah, and it's always a time game. I mean, Can you tell me, what do you think the real benefits are of LinkedIn Active Marketing for a marketing company or business development company that wants to expand their business?
Sure. It's the way I look at that is it provides some solid, highly qualified leads from a marketing strategy which in the past has been very amorphous, which has been difficult to pin down, it's been difficult to target. And this is a combination of the best systems and the best people. So it's cutting edge technology really, which is finding people, leads, business, which there's no real other way to find those people. If you were to put one of your social media experts onto LinkedIn 24 hours a day, they wouldn't be able to wade through the volumes of data that we're trawling in order to get this information out. And by the time they found it, that lead would have gone cold and they'd have moved on. So it allows you to keep ahead of your competition. It provides a strong stream of qualified leads which can be handed over to a social media team to then nurture and build on.
Okay. Well, that is LinkedIn Active Marketing, and thank you very much.
You're very welcome.